Okay, so today's module is going to be about all of the things we need to coordinate when we're refereeing, especially for the first time. It's something that a lot of people don't think about. They don't think about how many things they're going to need. They're going to need pencils, right? Well, hopefully the facility will supply pencils, not always. I always have a couple extra. Apparently I take a bunch home with me by accident. But you're going to need weights, shims, pencils, the remote. You're going to need to know how to coordinate the remote. You're going to need to know about the score sheet. You're going to need cards. You're going to need a lot of things. And so you need to practice and prepare for all of those things. One of the things that I've realized recently, even just recently, all the mentoring I've done with refereeing, is that a lot of people come in and they don't realize how many things they have to coordinate. So I have got a TV remote. It's not a real remote, but it's close enough, you know, to the real thing. And me personally, I always do my remote in my left hand. So when I am doing On Guard Ready, fence, I press the button with my left hand as I say fence. This is what works for me. Sometimes you have to angle yourself on the box, On Guard Ready, fence. Sometimes you even have to be like On Guard Ready, and you kind of are aiming with like one hand and saying fence with the other. Because sometimes you're pretty far from the machine and you can't get there. Sometimes the remote doesn't work as well as you need it to, so you kind of have to really press it and aim it and press it and aim it. And I will never forget the time that I will show you from behind. I was doing one of these. I was pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing and pressing, and these people behind me were like, "The time's not running, the time's not running." And I was just like, this is the international symbol for me trying to start the clock. And they were like, "Ooh, sorry." Because it really is. This pressing the button is the international symbol for trying to start the clock. And sometimes when you're on the edge of the piece, where you're getting to the side of the piece, it's really hard. One of the things I've done is I'll do On Guard Ready. I press it real quick, give a little glance that it's going, fence. And you're taking maybe a half second away from the fencers, but then you can angle at the box and you won't miss if they do something right after you say the words fence. And this is really important. You need to be not tunnel visioned on the clock, but you need to be paying attention that the clock is running, because it's really important for the athletes. But you can't be so focused on it that you're going to miss actions that are happening. And that's really, really important. I'm going to put my fake remote down. Now, another thing that you really need to make sure is that you have like things you need. If you always get a headache in venues because the lights, have some ibuprofen with you. At some point we're going to have a learning module where we're going to go over all the bags of stuff that you need. And it's not, I tend to carry too much, but I tend to like to have my ibuprofen. Thank you very much. Vitamin I. But you want to make sure that you've got enough stuff so that you can have a bottle of water, stuff like that. Another thing you're going to have to coordinate as the referee that you are in charge of completely is the score sheet. How do I do it neatly? And if you don't really know how to do a score sheet well, ask somebody at your club. Maybe they can help you out. Another thing that's really important that you're going to have to coordinate is you're going to have to know where your cards are. Now, for me personally, I prefer to segregate my cards. My right hand is always my yellow. My left hand is always my red. And my black card is always located in like a dramatic spot so that if I have to look, I have inside pockets that I had a tailor put in. I always do a dramatic search for the, that's not the black card. A dramatic search, that's still not the black card. A dramatic search for eventually, the black card is in here somewhere. There it is. Okay, so it would really be a dramatic search. That was not planned, by the way. Oops. I personally feel like you want to segregate your cards. Not everybody agrees. I have a bunch of stacked cards right here, and this is stacked black, yellow, red, right? Can you see that? And I don't like it when the cards are stacked because you go like this. Right has a yellow card. Okay? Now, if they're stacked and I go like this, right has a yellow card, tip screw. Wow, that was the toughest tip screw violation in the history of tip screw violations because it looked like it was a black card. You want the cards to be solo, and you're going to present them. I present them, and I believe the rules say you present them carton jaune, yellow card for the right, yellow card for the left. Okay? So make sure that you are figuring out, as I come out of frame, what works for you for putting your cards in different spots. I had a friend who always put his black card in his back pocket because that's what worked for him. Really, it's what you're going to be comfortable in. Some people like them in one spot so that they can look and look and look and look and look. And so when the person is saying a bad word, they might be able to make them apologize. I don't know. But this is something that's really important. Another thing that's super important that you don't realize you need to coordinate when you're refereeing at your first tournament is your space. I see a lot of young referees, they step around spectators because they're in their way. You do not need to step around spectators. You are, well, let's say you're the third most important person in that setting. First two most important people are the fencers, right? Third one is the referee. But think of it this way. Would anybody ever think about stepping in front of a judge at Wimbledon or an NFL referee or a soccer referee for a World Cup? No, of course not. They would never think that you could walk in front of that referee or get in their way. And yet people get in referees' ways in fencing a lot, especially at local tournaments. At national tournaments, we've got the pods and we're really protected by that. But really, it is so important that you have your space. The fencers have their field of play. Well, where you are refereeing is your field of play. They've got the piste, you've got this space. And if you can't move, you can't see the action. And that is really important. So be bossy. Say, you need to go that way. One of my methods as I dash out of the space is to go like this when people are in my way. I'm sorry, folks, you're in my way. Okay, you need to go. Okay, you are in my way. Okay, go, 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 go. So you're not giving anybody a card, but you're reminding them that they are in your space because you can't do your best work if they're in your way. I have absolutely, positively missed calls because I'm going like this, boom, and I bump into somebody who is right where they're not supposed to, and I'm trying to get an angle on the box. I bump into them, I get jostled, I've missed the lights, I can't make the call. You need to be protective of your space. Now, I covered a lot in a very short period of time. You've got a lot to coordinate. You've got the remote. You've got to figure out which hand you want the remote in. You've got to figure out that you've got to do on guard ready fence. You've got to get that thumb depressed, get that clock started. You've got to know where your cards are. Where's your red? Where's your yellow? Where's your black? You've got to know how to do the score sheet. You've got to know, how to protect your space. Now, my seasoned referees are thinking, okay, I did not realize I was doing this and that I was making it look easy. My new referees are maybe a little terrified, but all it takes is practice. Practice at the club. Grab the remote off the wall and say, hey, I want to practice keeping time. You guys mind? I just want to ref a few touches, on guard ready fence. And you go. Practice is how you will get your confidence up and it won't feel so overwhelming. And this is something that I really see, and I think everybody sees it, that when you're first starting out in refereeing, it's very overwhelming because there are so many things you need to coordinate. Well, now you have a learning module right here that's preparing you so that when you go to referee your first tournament, all the things that you need to coordinate won't seem so overwhelming because you will have prepared for them. This is how we're going to make you better. This is how you're going to become a better referee. So, as usual, I want you to think about other questions you might have, other things you think that you want to learn. I probably, I hope that I've thought of them so that I plan to do a learning module on them, and if I don't, I'll work on it. And I thank you very much for watching. I'm just plain old me, just Lisa Campi, and I thank you for trying to improve your refereeing. Bye.